mo ti elevate. Orí mi kò lè hibernate. Àwọn bá.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Two Brothers channel. I'm one brother.
Hello, everybody. I'm second brother.
And I'm Rika. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Welcome, everybody. This is going to be a very exciting episode. So I can't wait to dive in. Let's go straight in. Mr. Phil, over to you.
Hey, dive right in. Guess what? This one, we're going to call this poverty versus wealth mindset. Poverty versus wealth mindset. Okay. You see, a lot of people, like Mr. Kinley actually said in a previous episode, they have a fantasy relationship with success and wealth. They've got this dreamy, hairy-fairy idea about money, about success, about wealth that is not really rooted in mentality, in reality. And the source of the misinformation, miseducation, and all that comes from the fact that none of us are born with all this information intact. We have to actually acquire them on this journey. Now, I say that because okay, there's something called dichotomy. And dichotomy means when two truths can exist in the same space, okay? So I said that none of us are born with this information, but again, on a higher, deeper level, we are born with this information. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. So it's one of those dichotomies, okay? But let's deal with reality of our conscious level, of what we're conscious with. We come into this world and we have to acquire this information, success information. So it gets to a point where it's even more like you're reminding yourself what you've forgotten. But let's not go too deep again, okay? So let's still stay with consciousness. So that is why we keep talking about the books. We keep talking about videos like this. To start your thinking pattern in the direction to equip you for the success that you seek. Okay, now we're talking about, reading. Okay, we're talking about videos like this. It has come to our knowledge that some people say that these videos are long. I know, it's not a big complaint, but I just want to say, what do I do because I have some people that I follow that have long videos, some of them up to 6 hours. But because I value their information, what I do is I watch 15 minutes or 30 minutes and I remember where I stopped. Then I go back again. So feel free to do that with our videos. Okay. Again, it looks like we've got a lot of audience that are very shy to leave comments. And that might be because you don't know what to leave. So let me encourage you. What I do is when I watch a video and a thought comes to me because of the video, maybe the video triggers something in me, I write that in the comments, or if I'm inspired by something I said, I'll write that in the comments. Thank you for saying that. That made me think about this. Okay, because some of you do leave comments, but we see that our audience are very shy when it comes to leaving comments. But what it does is that it encourages us, it lets us know what resonates with you so that we can come up with more contents, okay? So again, what is today's topic? We're talking about poverty mentality versus wealth mentality. So let me hand over to Mr. Claire to continue.
Hey, everybody. Now, this is very, very key in terms of what I found on this journey in changing your mentality from a poverty mindset to a wealth mentality mindset. Now, just a simple scenario. You get somebody that, the saying that they say, watch the pennies and the pounds will look after themselves. So you get people pinching on the pennies, making sure they're saving maybe going to the supermarket, looking at the and at the discount and going and buying only discount goods. Somebody might be just don't throw anything away. They eat expired foods. They make sure that they get every ounce of, every ounce of everything. To say, in the case of, this is like I'm watching my pennies. I'm saving money. But what they're not doing is they're not reading up on the bigger picture. So they're still focused on the minor, that they're not focusing on the major. What would impact their ability to generate wealth? They're not paying that, the amount of attention and effort they're putting into pinching the pennies. They're not putting it into the bigger items that will actually expand their wealth. Yeah, I hope I haven't lost you already.
No, you haven't.
Because coming from a country like Nigeria, where there's a lot of poverty in the country, there are certain habits that you come out of that society with, and unless you focus on those habits and challenge those habits, you might get into this rot mentality, into this poverty mentality, and you think you're actually building wealth. You think, oh, if I do this, I'm making progress, but you're not, because you could spend your years cutting corners and pinching the pennies, but that's not what you need. You don't need to be pinching the pennies. You need to be building the millions. You need to be investing in building those millions. Pinching the pennies is going to make sure you don't lose pennies, yes, by all means. But to be wealthy, you need more than pennies. So you need actual skills, you need actual strategy, you need a plan. You need to develop yourself. Because I was just talking to friends over the weekend, and we're talking like, okay, what do we want to focus on in 2021? And I said, you know what, for me, I want to learn new languages. Because right now I'm English speaking, and I have a view into the English world and the way the English operate. But if you learn a new language, you open up a totally new world to yourself. Let's say I picked up Spanish now, and I can converse in Spanish, I can work in Spanish, I can interview in Spanish. That means, wow, I've just opened up another half of the world to myself. And now look at the amount of wealth you're generating with the English mind, with the English speaking world. Now translating that into also the Spanish world, and then maybe bringing the Chinese, learn a bit of Mandarin, and going to the Chinese world as well, and using the same people's skills, not changing the people's skills. You're using the same people's skills. You're using the same skills that you're learning, and now you can actually transform your whole wealth by just focusing on those. So just those are the things I'm thinking about when I say wealth mentality versus poverty mentality. So over to you, Mr. Phil.
Thank you, Mr. Kale. You see, what I really relate to what you said there about penny pinching, because again, like you said, coming from a background where maybe there's not a law, some people learned how to save money. You even mentioned some people eating expired foods. You should have seen Rika's expression, my expression too. And they get a little reward from doing that. But like you say, they lose sight of the bigger picture, because doing that will give them a little maybe savings here, savings there, but it doesn't break them through to the next level of wealth. And what does that is simply success habits, success habits. Okay, what do I mean? See, a lot of people, when you see a good garden, a garden that someone has tended, straight away you will know. When you see a garden that's just left with devices, where there are weeds, where there, someone has not cleaned it, you will know. Same with men's mindset, same with mentality. If we don't work on our mentality, if we don't work we don't work on our mindset, it's like that garden that is not kept. It's got all sorts of things going on in there, okay? But when you start working on your mentality via the books, via videos like this, via rubbing minds with like-minded people, attending meetings, things like that, you're tending your mind. So it's like a garden that is taken care of. And now, just like you can walk easier, sit easier in a made garden, so is your mind will work better when it comes to strategies to get you from where you are to where you need to be. Okay, so don't neglect that. Okay, I just wanted to add that element to what Mr. Clay is saying, that there are things that you need to bring to your game that is just different from the default things that you've learned. Oh, let me save some money here. Oh, let me eat beans on toast at the end of the month. Oh, let me do that. No, there are things that you need to do that will break you into a higher tier of things. Myself and Mr. Kennedy have been known to pay thousands to go to seminars and come out of that seminars with tools that helps us break into another level. Someone with a poor mentality will not do that. They'll be thinking, you mean I'm gonna go and spend 1,000 on that seminar, and no, let me still be penny pinching here. But again, it's the least we can give for information is actually money. Take my 1,000, give me the information that I will use forever. Again, what's my 1,000? Take my 1,000, I will spend it anyway. But give me information that will break me and my mindset to a different level that will pay me forever. So again, a poor mentality will be thinking of, how can I let go of this money? They're not thinking of what letting go of the money will open the door to. Am I making sense, Mr. Clay?
Well, that is bang on, because most, like you said, most people will think I cannot afford to go to that seminar. I cannot afford to, pay for that trip. I cannot afford. I mean, there was times at the beginning stages where, yes, I couldn't afford to go. There's no two ways about it. I was looking at, especially when we're talking about the drill weekends when I first started, and everybody's talking how wonderful, how transformative it is. And, but the thing is, when you get to a place where you say, it's not that I cannot afford to go, I cannot afford not to go. Which is the next phase you need to get to, where you'll be like, listen, I cannot afford to miss it because it's going to add time. If my journey from where I am to where I should be is going to be 5 years, me not going is going to add another it's going to add to the end. It's not going to be 5 years, it's going to be extra years. So you cannot afford not to go, which is why you need to then engage your mind, an active mind, in thinking, how do I get to go? And so the things that you say, I can't, because what I found is over the years, the things that you use as an excuse not to do something, yeah. So it'd be like, I'm working during that time, I can't make it, or the kids, I have children. All these excuses that we have, it's too far, it's too expensive. Those are the reasons why you must go. Those are not the reason why you shouldn't go. Those are the reasons why you must go. So you need to start changing your mentality, your mindset to say, I'm going because of my children. No, I can't go, because most times you get, when you have little, young children, when you're just starting out, and you're thinking, where am I going to stick the kids? I can't go. I have to babysit. I have to look after my kids. But these are the reasons why you must push on. Say, I have 2 young kids. That's why I must go for their future. I need to create something for them. It was like, I'm working, I'm always working. Yes, because I want to break that circle of always working. That's why I must go. I must push myself to go. So whatever you're using as an excuse not to do something, actually change it to the excuse to do it. So I'll just pass back. Should I go to Rike?
Give it to Rike, yeah, please.
Okay.
Rike.
Yeah. In terms of the wealth and poverty mindset, if I'm honest with everybody, I'm still learning myself. So I'm internalizing a lot of things from my father and Uncle Leia as they're speaking right now, in terms of the excuses. Like before, I would say, oh yeah, I don't have enough money to do this, or I don't have enough. But in fact, now I know that is the reason why I should be taking the steps in order to build my future, in order to attain the connections that I need, in order to gain the skills and be able to actually utilize the skills that I'm learning in order to create something and network with people and everything. I was also thinking about problem solving, like the big billionaires and millionaires of the world. The reason why they're millionaires and billionaires is because they've solved many problems which we all face. It's like, I'm thinking every day, what am I going to invent? What problem do I need to solve? And that's the kind of mindset that is the wealth mindset, where you're thinking proactively of things that you need to solve in your community. Be like, I even spoke to one of the people that I know from my workplace, and he owns like a multi-millionaire business, and he works with youth, and he was speaking to me like, oh, so what would you like to do? And I was thinking, oh, I want to do something for the world. And he was like, no, start small, start with your community, start with what is in front of you now, and then you can branch out. Because thinking big, you're going to have so many different ideas. I want to do this, I want to do that, and you're going to be unfocused. Whereas if you start small and you say, okay, my community, let's say the youth community, or young Black girls, or young Black people in London, or young people in the UK maybe, or young people in secondary school, just something close to me. It will be easier to start creating ideas and brainstorming things in order to produce something that could be helpful to those type of communities. So those are the type of mindsets that I'm trying to acquire, and also using the books, such as Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The Secret, I'm still on the Biggest Secret. So that one's a very tough one to finish, but those type of books, they're very encouraging, and they give you a sort of introspection where you have to actually just think of, I don't know, different ways to approach different things in your life, different things that you may face or others may face. So yeah, I'm still learning as well, guys. So, it's never too late. Back to you.
All too early. And one of the things I like about what Rike did there is that she basically, okay, I can just imagine Rike listening to me wax lyric, listening to Mr. Claire wax lyric, and she's sitting there thinking, what am I gonna say? She's thinking that and again, beautiful thing. You see, the beautiful thing is that she was honest. I'm learning. But the great thing about that is that honesty brings inspiration, because you came up with some powerful things there, Rike. And that's why I like this dynamic. I like this dynamic where we are where we are in different stages and different levels of this journey, and sometimes it's easy to forget. And you help us remember. And you bring the youth flavor. How do you feel bringing the youth flavor, Rike?
If I'm honest, it's very difficult. Because like my dad said, I was thinking, Jesus, what am I going to say? Me, I don't know anything or well. I'm still trying to learn, and I'm still internalizing everything. But something with me is that no matter what the challenge, I go head first. Like,
Okay,
if I flop, I flop. But from flopping, you learn something, you know? So no matter what, I always choose to be very proactive. And even though I don't know what I'm talking about, I'll still find sense in what I'm saying somehow. Or even some things, maybe somebody might be able to take one tiny thing out of what I've said, even though it might be a concoction of God knows what. But, you know.
No, definitely. It's authentic. You're authentic. And you can't, that's all you need to be. You just need to be authentic. We're all on a journey. Nobody knows it all.
It's true.
A lot of the things I'm regurgitating, things I've heard over the years, I'm not even inventing something new. These are just things that I've taken on board and I've imbibed into my journey. To say, you know what, don't think of something as a deterrence. Don't let that be your deterrence. Let that be your reason why. Don't run away from an issue. Run into it.
Yeah.
Run into it. Don't let the bullies get the best of you. Take on the bullies. Find out why. And what you find is that authenticity. You being authentic and being very free. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. And the age gap. I remember. So it's I remember you being born, Enrique. So it's even for you to be able to roll with us is impressive.
Wow, I appreciate it, honestly. I'll try my best.
And just going on that wave that Mr. Clay and Rika has just left there, Mr. Clay is talking about, the fact that he has learned things on this journey. So, and Rika is talking about where she is at and the fact that, she doesn't know it all. And saying that she met someone that told her that, look, start where you are. So we know we have people that are listening to us, in the UK, start where you are. We know that, we've got people that listen to us in America. Start where you are. In Nigeria, start where you are. In Kenya, start where you are. What do we mean? Where you are, what circumstances are around you that needs fixing? Like Rike said, the wealthy people are in the world are wealthy because of the problems they've solved. That is why we go and we give them hard-earned cash. And I don't know whether I should bring this topic in, but let me just stay on this part. So start where you are. Start thinking your mentality. That's why we said that poverty mentality versus wealth mentality. But that poverty mentality, we say, I can't. There's nothing here. Wealth mentality, we say, I can because there's nothing here. Can you see? It's the same thing, just like Mr. Clay is saying. The same reason that the poverty mentality say, nothing works here, nothing is good here. The same wealth mentality will say, nothing works here. Everything means everything is good. That means that we can do something. Do you know what I'm saying? So again, it's perspective. Like Mr. Clay said, the poverty mindset will say, I just work. I don't have time for anything else to help myself out of this situation. The wealthy mindset will say, I just work. That is why I have to help myself out of this situation. Can you see? You understand what I'm saying? So wherever you are, whatever your situation, it is your own mindset that dictates what happens. Okay, so, and again, some people will say, I have so much to say, but I don't have any, I don't have anyone to say it to. Then they see someone like us, then they will say, oh, it's all right for you, you got a YouTube channel. What do you mean? We were exactly in your situation. We just decided to start talking. Mr. Clay.
Well, that is the whole mentality of this journey, isn't it? Because we all have 24 hours in the day. We all live in the same world. And we all have to realize that this is not a competition. This is about a growing mentality, because once you say, okay, you know what, let me start changing my mentality. I'm gonna be positive. I want to be positive. I want to be, I want to be more focused. I want to be this. I want to be that. But the people around you that have known you for years will start looking at you, and they will bring all this, what it seems to you as negative to you. You'll be like, yeah, I want to go forward. And they will come with, no. We know you for always being late, always being a liar, always being unreliable. You're like, no, that's the old me. I'm the new one now. My new me, I'm going to be multi-millionaire. I want to be this, I want to be that. They're not going to be, a prophet has no honor in his own home. They're not going to just switch with you. So they'll be watching you. They will be bringing even more challenges to you. And the thing is, don't let it frustrate you. Let them do what they do. Just smile, just say, yeah, I knew you would be like this. I knew you wouldn't support me, because you'll be thinking that, okay, if I start some business now, the whole family is going to get involved and they're going to support me. And by next week or next month, we're going to be, blowing up. Well, you find out that these are the people to say no to you. And you think, but it will benefit you. You will do it, but they'll be like, no. I can't understand it. Why not? Some of them don't even have a good reason. And you can let that deflate you.
Big time.
You could, that could knock you back. And I know, I've been there where my very best friends turned their back on me. But then the question is, are you gonna move forward? Or are you gonna go back with them where there's no answers and you're all sitting in darkness with no light, there's no future? Or are you gonna just blaze the trail? Because they will come after.
They will.
They will, because for many years, for many years, poverty mentality versus, wealthy mentality versus poverty mentality. For many years, you see people that would turn around to you and don't have an answer to the issues you're facing, but yet they're the ones stopping you from moving forward. And for many years, you'll be looking at them thinking, why is this? All they're doing is they're building up your muscles. They're building up your reason why. They're building up the reason why you must do it, because you're going to be that example. And you're going to do with or without them. You're going to get to that point where you're going to be able to look them in the eyes and say, I'm going with or without you. Great if you come. Great if you don't. I'm going. Yes. Mr. Phil.
Wow, man. Honestly, Mr. Clay, you were in the zone right there. You were in the zone. And I just encourage everyone to listen and keep listening, because this is part of the price you pay for your wealth. Okay? You need to look at your mind, like Mr. Clay said earlier on as well. He said your mind is a muscle. You're building your muscle. You need to build your mind. You see, the mistake a lot of people make is that they think that that they don't have to work on their mind and everything will just fall into place. No. Just like brushing your teeth every morning, just like taking your bath, you need to wash your mind. You need to take care of, like I said, just like tending to a garden, you need to tend to your mind. And watching videos like this is not necessarily what we're saying that is actually the gem here. It's not necessarily what we're saying that is actually the power here. It is not necessarily what we're saying that is miracle here. It is what it triggers in you that we cannot have any control over. Who knows? One word that we've said could just trigger something in you, and you are just a mega success because of that. Rike?
Yes, I agree. I agree. It's definitely what it triggers in you. You know, like my dad said, we have no control over the impact that our words are going to have over anybody. It's what you as an individual take from it, and you as an individual will be able to, you know, kind of just interpret from the different things that each and every one of us are saying, because we could be saying something straight, but everybody's interpretation will be different. And I was also going to pinpoint on what Uncle said about, you know, the people that are closest to you are the people that most likely won't be the ones to help you. And I think that's mainly because of familiarity. Familiarity, I've learned, familiarity breeds disrespect. Sorry, I'm shy, guys, but familiarity, it breeds disrespect. And listen, I don't take disrespect lightly. So I don't allow anybody to feel like they should be comfy around me or comfy just because we're close. No, because you can cut off too. But yeah, so that in terms of the people around you not supporting you, that should be your driving force. That should be what is encouraging you and motivating you to find, you know, different ways of maneuvering and navigating the world that you're currently living in. And also in terms of back to what we were saying about interpretation, the muscles in the brain, like they say, oh, what's it that we only know, we only use 40% of the brain or less than that. But do you know that saying is actually wrong? That saying has been misinterpreted.
Oh,
the
wow.
saying is actually that they only know how 40% of the brain works. So it's not that we only use 40% or the figure that they've conjured up, is that they only know, they have only been able to conceive that amount of the brain. So we are building neural pathways every single day by expanding and reading and listening to things, even just going into nature and just sitting there in the stillness and the calmness of nature and allowing, you know, the universe to inspire you. You are creating different neural pathways which you never knew that you were creating before. And as you're creating those, you're able to unlock different parts of the brain, which will inspire you in lots of different ways. So listen, don't let anybody tell you you can't do anything. Yeah?
Exactly.
Because
and again, when I think about what we're talking to people about, I think about people in the good situation, the normal situation, and the worst of the worst of the worst. So let's look at someone that is on the streets right now. You don't even have a roof over your head, and we're saying these things to you. Even in that situation, listen to what we're saying and use your mentality, use your mindset to say, okay, the reason that I think is what is keeping me here is the reason why I'm gonna use to get out of here. I think, quick story. Many years ago, I went to Nigeria, and there was this guy. He didn't have a job, he didn't have anything, and he was obviously very unhappy with his lot in life. And I told him, and I was giving an example. I'm like, look, right here you have time. You're a boy, yes, okay. Just go to the business section of the town and just go to any shop owner and say, look, don't pay me. I just want to be useful to you today. What do you need me to do? Do you want me to help you sweep this place? And don't expect anything back. Just help them sweep. If they have something to carry, help. Be useful. Just be useful. And don't steal anything. Don't steal anything. Do you know, regardless of where you are in the world, be it Timbuktu, be it Egypt, be it Saudi Arabia, be it even Iraq, if you do that for a week, someone will say, you know what, come tomorrow. We need you here.
Yep.
Did they ask for a CV? Did they even advertise a job? No. You just went to be useful. Mr. Clare.
Yeah, like you say, that is, you can do that anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
Just by you engaging and being useful. That's how I started my journey. I didn't, because it's funny, because the career I work in is a very highly skilled career. And, you need, masters, to even be close to it. And then on top of that, you need all these exams, and you're being tested even every day because of there's so many mandatory training, they call it. Trust me, gosh, mandatory trainings is the pain of everybody's life in my industry. Because, because there's a lot of regulation and people need to be compliant in before we can operate. So now, to get there, a lot of people would think I must know somebody, or I had a connection, or somebody put me through, And I've even tried to put other people through, but most of them don't do that basic thing that Mr. Phil said there. Making yourself useful, working for free. Let me put it that way. Going to work for free. Because, okay, before I got the job, I said my job was looking for a job. And that's working for free. And if you get that mentality to know that you, as an individual, you are a company, I need to raise my stock, that somebody will want to invest in me. Yeah, because when we were contracting, when we were doing temporary work, what we found is that you had to be your own company. So you had to grow that mentality that I am a PLC. And you know what? You don't want to be a rubbish, poverty-stricken company. You want to be a Fortune 500 company. You want to be a company that is, hip, company that everybody wants to work with, a company that people want. So when you get there in the morning, you're like, good morning, everybody. How you doing? Oh, God, I'm going to be, And they're looking at it like, what's wrong with him? Yeah. And, and nobody, especially on the Monday morning, everybody comes, Monday morning. Nobody wants to be here. But you come in like, hey! And they say this guy is not even getting paid. He must be crazy. But because you know where you're going, that's what your excitement is. And you will find that most people want to go with you. They will say, oh yeah, we want him in that team. We want Leia in that team. We want him in that team. I want to work with him. Before you know it, you're not a team leader, and now you're a team leader. You're like, hey, team, come on! And they're like, hey! So, enthusiasm, so to say God within you is enthusiasm, right? So you're bringing that into the game, and you're bringing that, and that's what people need. Needs that. That is currency. They will pay good money for that. But we just want to be there. I've got my PhD, so that means I can be as miserable as I want. I'm depress you all I want, and you must just cope with it. No, nobody wants you with your PhD. Sorry, we're gonna have to let you go. And you'd be like, you're gone.
Let me just add to what Mr. Clare is saying there. You see, when Mr. Clare is saying that he gets to work on Monday morning and he's bright and he's like, let's go, and at first when he would do that, everybody would look at him like, what's wrong with this one? But because it will be consistent, everybody like, that's him. interesting. But what they don't all know, and what I would, which Mr. Clay didn't touch on, is this. Maybe that morning, Mr. Clay too woke up like this. Oh, I'm gonna go in. Maybe he woke up like that. But guess what? I know Mr. Clay will do. During the time he's woken up and before he gets to work, he would have listened to an audio tape talking about personal development, talking about enthusiasm. While on the train, I remember we used to read on the train. So between that time you wake up and you get to the work, you've already had a seminar, a one-man seminar. Say, yeah, let's go, let's get it.
Fired up, ready to go, you know. They're not ready for you this week. You're gonna knock them out. We're knocking them out.
So that is the secret, ladies and gentlemen. It's like we too wake up like, oh, but guess what? I know once I wake up like, oh, I know the next thing, definitely I'm going to listen. Definitely I'm going to read books because of that effect. And when you do that over years, that now becomes who you are. That now becomes who you are. Rike.
Yeah, I agree, because I'm actually the same, and the people that I work with can vouch for it. When I first started there, I didn't interview. I was also temping as well, and as I came in, oh hi, good morning everybody. That was actually my job, in fact, just to stand there, look pretty, and greet people. And I was also very willing to help. Like, oh, do you need this? Do you want me to do this? I was also very willing to learn. So those are some of the skills that especially employers that they love. Somebody who's willing and enthusiastic to learn and to give their time and their effort. Even more times, sometimes like we could have somebody who's running late, so I would stay behind. And they'd be like, oh, you're still here 2 or 3 hours after. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, but you're not getting paid overtime. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I love it. so I can vouch for that. Like, it really works. And is actually influential on your character as well, because you start to gain the attributes and people start to tell you that, oh yeah, you're very bubbly, you're very kind, you're very enthusiastic, and you start to think, do you know what, those are actually good characteristics to have as a person. So you start to adopt them and it becomes part of you, like my father and Uncle Leah said. So yeah, I encourage everybody, even though you might wake up like meh on the train as you're walking to the job or whatever, I read books on the train, and like it actually boosts my my enthusiasm in the morning. Like I could wake up and I'm very, very tired and I'm like, oh, I can't be asked to go inside today. I can't be asked to go. And then I'll get ready, I'll get on the train and I'm like, oh no, I'm just gonna sleep. I can't be bothered to listen to anything. I can't be bothered to read a book. And then something in my head is like, no, read that book, listen to that audio book. And I'm like, okay, I'll listen. So I end up listening or reading. And then as I'm reading, I'm like, yeah. I'm getting very hyped that it's telling me some things. And I'm looking around like at the people on the train, all like, and I'm like, you guys don't know. You guys need to know. And I get off the train like very jolly and happy, walking to work, and then come in like, hey, good morning, everybody. Bright and, very happy and bubbly. And in fact, it's contagious, because once I come in, everybody's like, oh, hey, great to see you. And then when you're not there, they're like, oh, it's very boring without you.
Yeah.
It's not the same without you.
Yeah.
So guys, having that enthusiasm, having that brightness and that joy is very contagious and very is very needed in the society that we are in today, especially in the UK, where it's very gloomy and depressing, and everybody's very angry and sad, and
the same UK that people are swimming the Mediterranean to get to. Everybody's sad.
The same UK that people think is heaven. You're saying it's so sad, miserable, cold.
You would think, come here and walk the streets of London, you say hi to somebody, they won't even respond to you. But in fact, that's another thing, because my dad and Uncle A recently put me on the high challenge, right?
Yeah.
And in the morning, I'm like, okay, before I get to the train station, usually there's not many people, but before I get to the train station, I'm going to make sure I say hi to at least 10 people. Good morning to at least 10 people. So like somebody will be walking towards me, I'm like, good morning. And they're like, oh, good morning. Yeah, good morning. So like, you know, those things, they can have an impact on the people that you meet. And like I said, it's contagious. It's very contagious. Happiness is contagious. Joy and excitement is contagious. So be spreading it. Be the sunshine where there's no sunshine. You know? Yeah.
And that is wealth.
That
That
is
is wealth mentality. Because people want to be around you. People know, okay, you know, if everybody's getting together, they want to be with you because you are the cool guy. You're the person they want to be with. And they know that if there's any challenge, you always find that, oh, nothing is impossible. There's always a way through, you know?
There's always a solution.
So and we don't want this video to be too long.
Too long. Yeah, let's bring it around. You know, like Kleke said, you know, and Mr. Clay said, we're talking about wealth. We're talking about poverty mindset versus wealth mindset versus poverty mindset. However, the important thing is that you can see what we hope we've shown you the tools that we use. I didn't want it to be just airy-fairy. I hope you've seen that even us, we apply these things. You know, we've broken it down. We've shown you how it is done. Again, it is what you put into your mindset, how you tend to your mind garden that will produce this excitement. You know, the habits of reading, the habits of listening. Don't neglect it, okay? And the reason why we're hitting on this and the reason why we're telling you these stories is because it's for real. We hope some of you will leave comments when you've tried it and you've gotten results. On that note, I'll hand over to the guys to say goodbye and we'll shut it down here.
Peace and love, as Rika would say. Peace and love. See you later. Bye.
Peace and love always. Peace and love always. Spread the love, spread the kindness, spread the enthusiasm and the sunshine. Bye, everyone.